Hello, hello, hello. All right. I always hate when I watch live and people are like, I'm gonna give people some time to come in. Duh, that's what I'm doing. So I'm giving people time to join, and I'm sitting here and I'm gonna look awkward for a second. Hey, Wendy. Look, I'm already ready to hit the request button, like, bring you in here. I'm not about to be the only one. um, so because I am going to be posting this. Okay, I see it. I'm gonna add you in a second. Because I'm going to be posting this on my page and on my website, Carmelanin.com, I do want to just give some quick background about why I'm doing this today. So this is Black Author Spotlight. Literally just like came up with that name off the whim. I have so many friends and people that I call family who have recently written and published their books, and because I'm an avid reader, I love to read. I'm just like, how can I not shed some spotlight on these people and what they're doing in our communities and these amazing books? And so I was like, you know what? I need to do something, create something where I can bring them to a space where we can talk about their books and other people can see what it is that they're doing and other people can go out and support them and purchase their books. So that is what we're doing here today. And without further ado, I want to bring my first guest to Black Author Spotlight. And I think I did that right. I'm totally not a live person. I don't really know how all of this works.
Hey, okay, let me adjust myself here. How are you?
I'm good. You look fantabulous. Look, I
Oh,
always
thank
forget
you.
that you cut your
Cut
hair.
my hair,
It
right.
looks so good though.
Thank you.
Oh
Hi,
my gosh.
everybody.
How are you adjusting
To
to
my
your
hair
hair?
being cut,
Yeah.
I kind of want to, I kind of want it back now.
Really?
I didn't think that I would, but
Oh,
I miss my hair. So, it is what it is. It'll grow back if I decide to. I'm just going to see what we're going to do now. And
yeah.
then, it'll grow back.
Yeah, it will. Well, you look great either way, sis. Either way.
Thank you. Thank you. You do too. You do too.
Thank you, Win.
Of
All right,
course.
so Wendy and I always tell this story, but it's like, how can we not? Like the story of how we met. And I'm gonna keep
Right.
it brief. Wendy, I'm gonna keep it brief because it's
Okay.
like it's long. But
Right.
Wendy and I met at an airport on our way to Kemet, or as some people know, Egypt, and we were going on a tour with Tony Browder in 2016. And as we were sitting in the airport talking, getting to know each other, we started realizing we had all these connections. Like, for example, we both went to VSU. Shout out Virginia State.
Virginia State.
Um, we both have family in Linden, New Jersey. What are the odds of that? I knew
Right.
his sister
Yep.
via social media, but I didn't know that she was Wendy's sister. And then
Yep.
also, I sat next to Wendy at an event before in DC and didn't even realize like that this was the
The
same
connections.
person. And
Right.
we have like a friend in common, Isa. Hey, Isa girl.
Hey,
And
Spy,
so
Isa.
we realized all of these connections, and it was just like, man, like this was meant for us to be here and for us to be here together. And so we've been
Yep.
like this. I consider Wendy family, and we are
Yes.
spiritually connected forever.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
so without further ado, Wendy, can you introduce yourself? Tell us about your phenomenal book, which I'm going to show in a second.
Okay. Yeah. So my name is Wendy Cherry. I am a Jersey girl, but I'm a Jersey girl in a DMV world. And so I've been here for like 23 years, and I'm just living life and navigating myself through this pandemic.
As we all
Yeah,
are in this
yeah. But
life
I'm a
craziness.
certified health coach, dealing with mind, body, spirit. I'm an author, of course. I'm a radio show host and producer. My radio show is the Sanctuary Radio Show. It's on all platforms. We talk about all things to uplift Black people. So
Yeah.
that's what the radio show is about. So, and Carm was on there talking about her adventures of traveling,
I
traveling
was.
around. So that's really who I am in a nutshell.
Yes, and thank you for having me. And I'm just like, I have to like, not that I'm sitting here like, oh, well, she had me on her show, I have to do something for her. It's not that. I genuinely want to support because this book, first of all, let's get into the cover of this book, okay?
Mhm.
This is when Wendy still had her hair.
Yeah.
Okay. This book is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. The book is beautiful. And I actually had the honor of writing a review in the book. When Wendy was going through her process, I was actually able to give her feedback. That is so special and important for somebody to say, this is my work, this is my baby, and I would like you to give me some feedback on it. So I'm honored, Wendy, that you even allow me to be a part of
Of
this
course.
process. I mean,
Of course.
amazing, phenomenal. And so, um, Wendy, I want you to talk about, because I don't think anyone, some people may wake up and say, I want to be an author. But
Right.
for you, how did this book come about? Like, where did this start for you?
So I've always been a storyteller. I always have like the long drawn out stories whenever like you with your friends, and then I tell my part, and then it's like the whole details and stuff that happened in the 70s and the smells and the music at the time. I just remember things in that way.
Yeah.
And then when I was 7, my mother gave me a journal, and she suggested that I write in a journal every night. So I have journaled seriously for 40 years. And so, yeah. So I always had stuff written down, and I'm sorry about if you hear the cops in the
Girl.
back. Sorry.
Fine.
Um, so over the years, my life has been so interesting and intricate that my mom suggested that I put it on paper. And then other people would say, you need to write a book, girl. So I decided to actually do it. So I did it last year. I started in June and I published on December 5th. And here we are.
Yes, that is amazing. And so, did you already like have these stories in your journals? I know that you were also blogging. So can
Yeah.
you speak a little to that? Like just how you took everything and put it together?
Well, some of it was in my journal. So when I started the process of learning, I laid all of the like 43 journals that I've had over the years, including my Holly Hobby journal from 1977.
Wow.
I laid it all out. And then stuff was just happening fast in my life. So it was pretty easy to recount. But
Yeah.
as I started to awaken myself and learn things about myself and my people and, the US, I started to blog. And like I say, I'm from Jersey. So my blog was called From Jersey to Me because I was trying to figure out who I was. So in the effort of finding out who I was having all of these experiences that I was blogging about. So then I was just able to copy and paste a lot of those things into the manuscript.
Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I absolutely love is that in this book, Wendy kind of like journeys her path to awakening. So, if we didn't say it, it's called From Jersey to Me, The Awakening and Healing of a Goddess, a
Yep.
memoir by Wendy Cherry. And so, she talks about like this path towards her awakening. And this book is like, you there's so much that you can get relationships, talk about sickness, talking about motherhood, talking about healing, talking about family, daddy issues. Like it's a wealth of knowledge in this book from
Right.
her experiences, but when you read it, there's so many things that you can relate to. There is something in here that you will be able to relate to. And so um with that being said, can you just talk about like some of the people that you met along your journey towards awakening and how they like entered your life?
Well, I think my mother always planted seeds for us about awareness of being Black. Like we had little Black baby dolls when we were little. We had Black photos around and we had all those things. So then when I grow up and become an adult, I think that that was a good framework.
Yeah.
And then I think the most profound thing, it was painful, but then it wound up being the catalyst for most of it was being arrested. So just like has happened since the beginning of time when we got here, the Karens try to come at you. So I had a Karen come at me and I was arrested. Me and my mother were arrested. They never asked us any questions. They never, nothing. We were just arrested straight off the strength of what this lady said, which was that we robbed her and we hit her. So they never asked anything, went to jail, had to fight the power, had to get a lawyer, had to spend a whole bunch of money. And I'm a professional. I was already a college graduate. I was a professional. I was arrested in front of my daughter. You know, my mother is a professional. She got a master's degree. My mom is a Virginia State alum too. So we're professional, middle class, upstanding people. And just as fast as we went to jail and were disrespected and mistreated, it just totally opened my eyes. So that was the Karen that kind of like started me on this journey. But then I started to say, what in the hell's going on around here? Something ain't right. Yeah. So I have a mentor named Dr. Vicki Johnson, and Vicki started to plant little seeds. So picture me in the nest, a little baby bird with my mouth open, and then she would just put a little worm in of knowledge, and then she would be like, okay, you know, are you ready for this? Are you ready for that? And so over the course of time, she introduced me to certain people. So one person that we know in common is Tama from the Womb Sauna.
I just saw her on Saturday. Getting together.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I have fibroids, and I was suffering so much, and I talk a lot about that in the book. And I had 3 surgeries, and they all grew back because I was never dealing with the root causes of the issue. I was just dealing with the physical manifestation, not the emotional, spiritual manifestation. So Vicki introduced me to Tama. Yeah. My first introduction to Tama was a few hours after Prince died. So I'm emotional. I'm sitting there on what she calls the pot. And so she is from the Womb Sauna, and it is where you do vaginal steaming. And it's not like what you see on TV. No. It's not the, you know, the McDonald's version of
it's the real deal.
It's a real deal. She like is like a therapist, and she walks you through all of these different things. And the one thing that I really got from her was she told me I wasn't living loud enough. Wow. And she was like, you are at all these things. Why are you so like dimming your shine? So I was deciding to buy a house at that time. She said, write down what it looks like, what the rooms look like, what it smells like, the paint on the wall. And I did that. And I'm sitting in that space right now. It took a year, but I'm sitting here right now. It looks exactly how I envisioned. So she allowed me, or she introduced me to my own power, because what I don't believe in is gurus. I don't believe anybody's a guru. I believe that people guide you back to yourself in the mirror. And she and Vicki did that, and then Tama did that. And then there's a sister named Rissikat, and she would have these sessions here in Washington, D.C. called the Red Tent. And in indigenous times, women, when they were on their menstruation cycle, they would gather in the tent and just support each other. If they didn't feel well, if they were low energy, if they were bleeding, there's a book called The Red Tent, but she created that here, and it was just for us. And we would go there, and she was introducing me to like numerology and African-centered principles and all these things that I didn't subscribe to as a Christian at that time. Okay. So she's one of the guides. So those are 3.
That and Tama alone is like a powerhouse. Yes. You know, Wendy mentioned Tama being she's what she would call a womb sauna practitioner or a priestess. Yeah. And it is real deal. It's like, it's not the McDonald's version. This is like you going to sit on what she calls the pot, and she's just pulling everything out of you. It's very therapeutic. And I think I'm going to Tama for like a year now. I met Tama through Wendy. Yeah. I'm going to her and doing this inner healing through Wendy. So that just goes to show, like, this book right here, Wendy is giving you so many gems and just so many resources that Black women can utilize here in the area. Even if you're not in the area, you can utilize these services and, you know, meet these people that she put in the book for your own awakening, your own healing.
Right. I created a resource guide in the back. So
Yes.
that anybody who wants to get any of this information, most of these
Yep.
people are online. Some of these people are international, national people, but they were sort of like the guideposts.
Yep.
You know, if you think of people who are running track and they pass the baton, that's what they were doing for me, passing the baton to the next thing, and, you know, always directing me to myself. So that's what I do in the book. I direct guru
Yep.
magic, and you're powerful, and we're always taught that we're not, especially if you're African descent in the United States, you're taught that you're nothing. But we are the originals. We are the originators. So I talk about how I came to that, you know, awakening and awareness in the book.
Um, I love that portion of it, the resource guide. How many times do you hear someone talk about something and you ask them, like, you know, who is this person that helped you, or can I have their number? And a lot of times people are standoffish about sharing
Yeah,
their resources. And Wendy
right,
gives every person that she talks about in this book that has helped her along her journey, she has in the resource guide. I mean, you can phone number, address, name, everything. So
right.
thank you for that. It's
Sure.
definitely a toolkit, and I said that in my review. This book is so, it's a wealth of knowledge in this book. And Wendy, what can people take away from your book? And also, is it just for women?
So this is the most interesting thing. I wrote it with Black women in mind.
Okay.
Black women, brown women. That's who I wrote it for. However, my friend's dad, who is 90 plus years old, read it. And he said that if he had known, so I talked about fibroids and my, thank you, Carolyn, and my issues with fibroids. And he said that his wife and daughter had fibroids, and he would have been a little bit more gentle and understanding with them had he known.
Wow.
Yeah, so he said that. And then it's so funny because I had a white man who read it. It was a white man at my gym, right? My boy Tom, right? So Tom bought the book. You know, I stand in front of
Wow,
him
look at
in
that.
like all the classes that we take in the gym. Everybody has their spot, so I'm in the front. And then one day he came up to me and he said, because I didn't know he had it, and
Yeah.
he said, he asked me about my aunt. He said something about auntie. So I talk about who I say are the master teachers. The master teachers originally were my parents and my grandparents and my aunt and uncle, who pretty much raised me as a teen,
Yeah.
right? And so I was like, how does he know about auntie? And then he told me he read the book. And I think it's really interesting because he read it back in the winter. But I think this gives him a different awareness
Yeah.
of what's happening now, because I don't know how many me's he knows. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
true.
I broke
So
it down, and he,
it comes full circle.
yeah, and I don't ever ask permission from them. I don't live my life through the white gaze, but I do believe that he learned a lot, and I think he sees things differently now of
Yeah.
what's going on, and so it has a different sensitivity. So he loved the book, and he was telling people about it. We took a picture, we posted it on Instagram. So that helped me to get out of my own box, because I boxed myself in.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
now I have had men who have read it. I talk about being adopted and finding my biological family and the impact of being an adoptee, the energetic part of being an adoptee, and then finding people who have your same everything.
Yeah.
And so then
That's
I've had a lot of
important.
people who have connected with their biological family. I did African ancestry. I connected to Cameroon. I went to Cameroon.
My
Hey,
cousin in
Cameroon
real
in the house.
life.
Yep. So I talk about those things. And so, like you're saying, there are many different themes. So people come to me with different parts and stuff that I would have never known. Like one of my friends that I've known for like 15 years, I didn't know that he was adopted. And he
Oh,
came and he read the book and he was like, I can't believe that we didn't notice about each other. And he just found his family. So, you know,
wow.
it's
Well,
human. It's human. Universal human themes.
and that's what I love about it. So many different people can connect because you shined light on so many things. Yes, that's my friend Carolyn. She was Virginia State too. Carolyn is also
Hey,
adopted.
Carolyn, BSU. Yes.
Yes, Carolyn,
Mm-hmm.
I think you will. I know you will absolutely enjoy this book for sure. Um, And so the last thing that I want to, and of course, like I don't want you to go, but the last thing that I do want to talk about, you are doing a book campaign, Fitty to Fitty.
Yes.
So can you
Yeah.
talk? Can you look, Wendy, when she writes, it's like
I
she's
make
gonna
up
give
stuff.
you Jersey talk, slang, everything, because that is a
Yeah.
language that is, you know. And she's like, yeah, this
Yep.
is called Fitty for Fitty. And so, can you
Yep.
talk about your book campaign?
Yes. So I have a milestone birthday. I'm turning 50 in 19 days.
Woo!
So
Does
this is
not
the
look
emoji with
50.
the head blow.
Black don't crack. She does not look 50 at all. At
Thank
all.
you. Thank you. So I'm supposed to be in Brazil, right? But
Man.
the Rona,
The
alas,
Rona.
the Rona. So I'm not going to be in Brazil. So I was trying to figure out what could I do to have fun, and whatever. So I decided to create the campaign, and it's called Fitty for Fitty. I wanted to sell 50 books in 50 days for my 50th birthday. So I started 50 days ago, and my birthday is October 26th. And so I wanted to sell 50 books. And so that's really what the Fitty for Fitty was. And I just make up stuff in my head. So that Fitty just came. And
I like it. It works.
yeah. So I've sold quite a few. I still have a little ways to go. So if anybody would like to purchase a copy for your family, for you,
Yes.
it's wendycherry.com/book.
Yes.
And
And
then
that is
Carmen's
why
doing this
I'm doing
giveaway.
that is a part of why I'm doing this tonight. Yes, it's to highlight Black authors, but also we have to support our Black authors. There's no
Yeah.
reason why we have all this knowledge out there from our own people and we're not supporting. And so with Wendy's campaign, I bought two, and I'm actually going to be gifting one away to someone that joined us tonight. And of course, I have my personal copy for myself. So if you are interested in this book, From Jersey to Me, The Awakening and Healing of a Goddess, let me know and I will be gifting this to you. And even if you get the gift, you can still purchase a copy. And like Wendy said, you can gift it to your family members. But let's help Wendy get to her 50 books for her 50th birthday.
Thank
Black
you.
don't crack, sis don't look 50.
Thank you. I'd like to just share what's in the book so that people understand.
Yes.
So there are 8 chapters. And after each chapter, there is work for you. So I'm kind of telling my story. I call it an interactive journal. So I'm telling my story, but I offer reflections for you. And you see there's a mirror here because I'm always directing each person to the mirror. Because really you are the magic and you are the technology and you have the capabilities to heal and to feel better and all these things. So sometimes you just need a little prompting. So there are 8 chapters, 8 prompts of different things, like what's your relationship with your mother? You write a love letter to yourself. You write a love letter to the first person that ever hurt you, whether it was a loving romantic relationship or something like that. So those are the kinds of resources. Then there's also journaling, because like I said, I started writing in 78, 77, 78. And I have been able to kind of like track my life and see all the blessings that have happened, the painful things, and just be able to use it as a form of therapy. A lot of people don't have insurance. And a lot of times people are sick because they're holding things in. The simple act of journaling. Go to Marshall's, get you a cute journal, and just start writing in it, and that helps you to get stuff up and out. Yep. So it's a modality of therapy. But I just talk about, one of the things that I realized was when Carm and I were in Kemet, we had a tour guide named Ahmed, and he's awesome. And he coined the term family, like that's what we call each other, right? But we were talking, and he was talking about being in the revolution, the Egyptian revolution, and how he was in it twice, and the things that he and his family and he and his wife did to support the revolution. And he asked us, because now, Carm, remember when we went, Philando Castile and something else had happened the day of that
It was
shooting in Dallas
so bad.
was the day we were at the airport.
It was so bad. I didn't even want to leave. I was like, how are we about to get on a plane, go to Egypt and have a good time, and our people are here suffering? I was so distraught. It was a lot.
Well, I wasn't. I was ready to go because I was like, I need a break.
Yeah.
And so we went, and then we were there for like 2 weeks. And then also the Republican National Convention was happening with Donald Trump then too. So there was craziness going on, but we were in a place that was different. But I remember all these shootings were happening, and Ahmed said, why y'all not fighting?
Right.
He said, where is your revolution? And I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed. And I was like, really, where is the revolution? Where is our revolution? So then, I left Kemet, and then 9 days later, I was in Havana, Cuba. And everything in Cuba is about the revolution.
Yep.
So that is when I came to the understanding in Cuba that the revolution is an inside job. I don't have control of anybody else, but I have control of myself.
Right.
And so that's where the revolution is, which is why I did the exercises this way, is for you to ask yourself these questions. And a lot of times people are afraid to ask themselves these questions. So like, I have had people who have read the book, and when I ask them what did they come up with the questions, or they come to me and just say, I'm not ready for those questions yet.
Wow.
Because they get kind of deep. And just so you know, I have asked myself all these questions, so I would never just throw something out there and ask somebody to do something that I haven't already done. That's kind of where I got them from.
The hardest work that you can do is inner work. And I've been learning that on this journey. The things that come up for you, the things that you have to face and that you're challenged with in that moment, it's very difficult. And some people can't handle it, but it's so necessary for you to build positive and healthy relationships, be it with your friends, with someone in an intimate relationship, workships, whatever it is. That inner healing is so important, and you just have to face it at some point.
Right. And then, I talk about this in here too, is that 7 generations behind, we're carrying their stuff.
Yep.
So think of Erykah Badu's Bag Lady. That shit's true. Yep. You're carrying your stuff, but people behind you stuff. So the goal is to break the cycle, and you do it so that your children and your children's children don't have to carry that same stuff. It's not easy. Just know it's not easy, but it's good, because think about, you guys might be too young, but think about like the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Or iPhone 2, right? Yeah. That might be where we are, but our children are upgrades on us. They are the iPhone 11. They got all the new apps and all the new equipment. And so that's what the goal is to give them the tools to be able to be at like 100%. Like when your phone is dying, it don't really act right. It's glitchy. If you don't upgrade the system and it gets a little glitchy. Well, when we give our children everything by healing ourselves, then they can then move forward fully powered and then pass it on to their kids 7 generations ahead.
Yeah. I love how you put that. One of my favorite memes, and you probably have seen it before, it shows a woman and she's pregnant, and it shows her baby inside of her. But you know that when you're in your mother's stomach, you already have your eggs. So it shows the baby's eggs inside of her. Yeah. So basically what it's telling you is that even when your mother is inside of your grandmother, all of that is being passed down to you because you're already in your mother's in the womb. So
it's the mitochondrial DNA. It doesn't change.
Passed down. So your grandmother could have been going through stuff and dealing with all types of traumatic experiences, and you could still be carrying that.
Right. And that also affects how you eat. So people are like, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian. Well, you might not need to be vegan or vegetarian. Because depending on how you were in your mother's womb, was she happy? Was she smoking? Was she laughing? Was she crying her eyes out every day? Was she throwing up? It just depends on how she was and how she was when you were in gestation. that all plays a part in if you should be eating kale, if you should be eating bananas, if you should be doing whatever, and nobody ever talks about that. So I talk a lot about those things because, and even in my coaching practice, I talk about those things because people don't know. They think they should just be vegan because people are saying that veganism is the best, but if it doesn't work with your body, and if the imprint from your mother says it's not, then it shouldn't be.
Yeah. And that's something I learned from you with going to Dr. Mines, who's also in Wendy's book. I have my appointment. I go see her on the 17th. So
okay.
she, you know, she does your blood work, and based on your blood work, she tells you how you should be eating and what you should be eating. Like Wendy said, we all say, oh, I'm going vegan because it's the thing to do. But based on like your blood type and your body, that may not be the best thing for you.
Absolutely.
You know, Doug went and she told him like he shouldn't be eating chicken. He should be eating a lot of leafy greens, and he should be eating like a lot of fish. And he was just like, wait, what?
Right.
I have to change my whole everything. And I'm like, we were like, yeah. So yes, that is also a resource here in the book. Well, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I just appreciate, I just appreciate the opportunity. And again, if anybody would like to buy the book, it's www.wendycherry.com/book. And, you know, buy some for your friends. They're, you know, the holidays are coming up, people's birthdays, people are celebrating. But then also, I believe that we're going to probably get locked down again, especially around election time and flu season. So you'll have something to do. So don't buy it on Amazon. Buy it on my website if you choose, because Amazon jacks me for my papers. And I don't believe that I sat down for 6 months to write a book and let Jeff Bezos take my money.
Girl, you should do, Wendy, you should do like a live stream or something about that. So many people do put their stuff on Amazon and get injected their coins. You should talk about that.
Well, I did do it. I did it. So this is the thing, you know, when you're talking about supporting Black business and things like that, and there's so many people who are doing things, I think that the currency that people are using is just the thumbs up. Like they give you the thumbs up, but they don't buy.
Yeah.
And so I have an audio version. I have the, you know, like the digital version, and then I have the hard copy, which I signed. And when I was releasing those things, I was telling people, please don't buy on Amazon because they take 65%. 65%.
What?
And then I still see that people buy it on Amazon, and it's not that many, but that's why I believe that, you know, when we're supporting each other, you should be able to have everything because that's our intellectual property. And so maybe I'll do it again. 65%. Maybe I'll do it again and remind people, but that's how Jeff Bezos is building, you know, his life on Mars.
But
you
do
know,
you have to give approval? Yes, Mars. We'll talk about that. Do you have to give approval for your book to be sold on Amazon?
Well, that's how I use the version I used was KDP, which is, so Amazon rules the world. They have publishing, they have music, they have food, they have everything. So really, if you're going to self-publish, that really is one of the only ways to do it, to get it out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's just a little education for you all. And then, you know, I know all of us entrepreneurs, you know, and writers and artists, we appreciate just, you know, everybody buying, but then also just think about the next time when you're seeing somebody like putting their stuff out there, and then you give them a thumbs up instead of actually purchasing it. Because I get thumbs up for days.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the thumbs ups. Even a share is better than a thumbs up.
A thumbs up,
if you don't plan on buying. But yeah, those are just things to consider. It's new to me too. I've only been an entrepreneur for 3 years, and now it's COVID.
Right.
So I'm learning a lot.
Well, you're doing a phenomenal job. I know you a lot more personally than other people, but you're doing a phenomenal job. And you know, a lot of times people will see what you're doing and they may not support, but you just keep doing what it is that you're doing, putting that energy out there, educating the masses, because this is information that we need and it's very important for our people. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I thank you, and I'm so glad that you gave the time to be here tonight. And please, if you are watching, Wendy also put the link in the comments.
Yep.
Please go out and purchase this book. It could be for your sister. It could be for your aunt, your mom, your brother, for his wife, anyone. Please purchase this book and get this knowledge. And again, if you are interested, you can definitely DM me and I will be gifting away one of the copies. I have my personal, and then I also bought a second one to gift away. So
yes, and I will sign it if you buy it, Carolyn. I'll sign yours and I'll send it out tomorrow. So I signed them, and so that's what that is. And then I have a radio show. So also listen to. You can go to wendycherry.com and then /radio show. You'll see everything at the top. But I have like 70+ episodes of all types of things like this. And some of the people that were in my book, they have come on my show to talk about different healing modalities, but it's all about the inspiration, education, empowerment of Black people.
Yep. So Wendy, when I post this, I'm gonna put all your handles, but can you just like say them aloud? Like,
so I'm on Instagram. Please consider following me at Awaken and Heal. And then my business is called the Goddess Awakening and Healing Sanctuary. So all of it is there. But Awaken and Heal, if you just go to wendycherry.com, all of my stuff is there. The radio show is there. The YouTube channel is there. It's on Spotify. It's on Facebook. I'm at Awaken and Heal #9. So I'm pretty much all over. And so please follow me. Please share.
Yay. Well,
thank you so much.
Great. This short amount of time, I learned so much from you, and I hope a lot of the people who joined did as well. Thank you again for your time, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Love you.
Yes, love you too, Wendy.
Okay,
bye.
All right, peace.
Thanks everyone for joining.